analyzing Donald Trump's potential influence on SpaceX's Starship Flight 7. This analysis examines the potential, yet largely indirect, influence of Donald Trump's presidency on SpaceX's upcoming Starship Flight 7. While SpaceX's technological advancement is primarily driven by private investment and engineering, the political climate during Trump's tenure undoubtedly created a specific backdrop. The following 5 sections explore this influence. Trump presidency's indirect influence on SpaceX's Starship Flight 7. Donald Trump's emphasis on deregulation and a nationalistic approach to space exploration likely shaped the broader regulatory environment surrounding space initiatives. While not explicitly targeting SpaceX, these policies could have indirectly influenced funding allocations and priorities for government-backed programs like NASA's Artemis program, in which SpaceX plays a pivotal role. Changes in funding or regulatory procedures during this period might have subtly altered SpaceX's priorities or trajectory, although the privately funded nature of Starship development makes direct causality difficult to establish. The Trump administration's approach to space exploration, whether perceived as supportive or critical, could have influenced public perception of SpaceX's endeavors. Even if this influence is intangible and less quantifiable than direct impact on project timelines or resources. A comparative analysis with previous administrations provides valuable context to assess the nuanced impact of the Trump era on SpaceX's path to space. Potential impacts on Starship Flight 7, speculation and uncertainty. Trump's emphasis on speed and nationalistic goals may have, theoretically, influenced SpaceX to accelerate development timelines for Starship Flight 7. Public perception of a drive for rapid progress during this period might have influenced SpaceX's internal decision-making, possibly affecting the launch timeline. However, internal engineering constraints, technological challenges, and logistical hurdles are more likely determinants of a project's schedule than external political pressures. Factors like necessary testing, component integration, and fueling procedures play a far larger role in shaping launch readiness than any single political stance. While speculative, the potential influence of Trump's rhetoric on public perception of SpaceX's rapid development and perceived national goals warrants consideration. This indirect influence is crucial to analyzing the complete picture surrounding Starship Flight 7, though quantifying its precise effect is complex. Ultimately, technological advancements, not political maneuvering, likely determine the launch readiness of the Starship project. The possibility of an accelerated schedule is theoretical. Focus should instead remain on the technical aspects and realistic constraints impacting the project's execution. Public perception and indirect influence. Donald Trump's public pronouncements on space exploration could have impacted public perception of SpaceX and its Starship program. His rhetoric, emphasizing national pride and achievement, might have inspired support for the company among some segments of the public. Conversely, it could have raised concerns among others critical of his approach. However, this influence is indirect and complex, shaped by a multitude of public factors beyond any single administration's actions. Public opinion is influenced by more than just the political climate. Quantifying this indirect impact on SpaceX's reputation or funding, therefore, remains challenging. While Trump's statements could have influenced the public's view of SpaceX, this effect is not directly measurable or easily quantifiable. More research would be needed to explore whether or not the observed public reaction to SpaceX was directly correlated with specific policy or rhetoric changes during the Trump presidency. It's important to consider multiple factors shaping public opinion and not attribute causation solely to a single political influence. Contextualizing the impact, a comparative analysis. To understand the potential influence of Trump's presidency on SpaceX's Starship program, a crucial step is a comparative analysis with previous and subsequent administrations. Analyzing funding allocations, regulatory frameworks, and public discourse surrounding space initiatives during those periods provides valuable context. This comparison highlights possible variations in policy that might have affected SpaceX's priorities. For instance, examining NASA's funding levels and strategic direction under different administrations provides insight into potential shifts in priorities. Did the emphasis on certain technologies differ? Did regulatory frameworks change, potentially affecting SpaceX's development processes? A comprehensive overview of these past approaches would reveal whether Trump's policies represent a unique departure or a continuation of existing trends. Such a comparison provides a crucial baseline against which to evaluate the specific nature of potential impacts during the Trump era. Ultimately, assessing the context within a larger historical framework helps determine whether Trump's policies introduced distinct trends or merely continued previously established patterns. This contextualization is critical for an accurate evaluation of the indirect impact on the space program. Assessing indirect influences on SpaceX's developments. Analyzing specific developments within SpaceX's Starship program through the lens of Trump's presidency is vital. Examining design decisions, funding strategies, and the adoption of recycled hardware against the backdrop of his policies is key to understanding potential correlations. Did specific political actions or the perceived political climate influence specific engineering choices? For example, did the prioritization of speed or a nationalistic focus prompt particular design decisions or resource allocations for Starship development? Identifying potential links between policy and program choices can reveal nuances of influence often overlooked in broad analyses. However, it's important to note that SpaceX's private nature allows for independent decision-making. This independence could partially insulate the company from direct political pressure, reducing the direct, measurable impact on specific milestones. A thorough investigation of these elements can reveal subtle, but possibly significant, influences of the political context on SpaceX's development. While quantifying the precise effect of the political climate on specific project aspects remains difficult, a nuanced analysis is crucial to understanding the full context of Starship Flight 7. The complexity of the relationship underscores the importance of recognizing the interconnectedness of political, technological, and economic factors shaping the future of space exploration. 2025, a year of transformation in space, driven by Trump-Musk dynamics, SpaceX's ascent, and the shifting space economy. The Trump administration's potential influence on the space sector and Elon Musk's anticipated role in government efficiency suggest a transformative year for U.S. space exploration in 2025. Analysts predict an increase in private sector initiatives, potentially shifting the focus from government-led space programs like NASA's Artemis to commercial ventures. The incoming NASA administrator, Jared Isaacman, a close associate of Musk's, is vocal in his support for the space economy, driven by companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. This emphasis on private enterprise contrasts with the ongoing delays and budget concerns of NASA's Artemis program, prompting questions about the future balance between government and private sector endeavors in space. SpaceX's Starship program is poised for rapid acceleration, with projected approvals for increased fundamental shift in how space travel is conducted. The potential for Musk's influence on regulatory processes could significantly impact this acceleration, but the level and application of this influence remain to be seen. While SpaceX appears dominant, increasing competition from Amazon's Project Kuiper and China's Tianfan constellation could challenge their market position. The Artemis program's challenges and the search for a new direction. NASA's Artemis lunar program is facing significant delays, particularly with the recent setbacks to the Orion capsule. These delays are attributed to issues with heat shield modifications and Orion's environmental control systems. The substantial development costs associated with NASA's Space Launch System, SLS rocket, coupled with criticism of cost-plus contracts, are creating a complex environment for the program's future. Isaacman's possible reassessment of NASA programs, including the SLS, could spark debate about the agency's future direction. SLS could cause significant political hurdles as it enjoys bipartisan support from some key figures. The balance between government and private sector investment in space exploration remains a major topic of discussion. Competition and cooperation in the expanding space frontier. The burgeoning space economy is not solely dominated by SpaceX. Competition is intensifying with ventures such as Amazon's Project Kuiper and China's Tianfan satellite constellations. These initiatives represent a significant challenge to SpaceX's current leadership in various space-related industries. The prospect of greater government cooperation with private entities like SpaceX under a potential Trump administration initiative might provide advantages in streamlining regulatory processes and securing funding. However, concerns about potential ethical conflicts and the potential national security risks of over-reliance on a single entity like SpaceX are also salient issues. The year 2025 brings landscape of space exploration. marked by intensifying competition and the need to address ethical and logistical complexities.